Welcome to Dive Deep. I'm your host, Caleb Swartz. Our goal here at Dive Deep is transformation, and during this series, we're exploring the transformation that Pastor Arlie has led CWC through during his 40 years of ministry and care. Today is Pastor Arlie's final episode, and we're excited to hear what Dive Deep has meant for him, and then we'll share a memory from someone that's been impacted by Pastor Arlie and allow him to respond to that. Kick back and relax as we take a journey down memory lane in the Vintage Collection. Pastor Arlie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Caleb.
So we began Dive Deep during the Empowered series. That was our series on Acts. Just as we launched it, where did the vision come from and where did you think it would go at that time?
Well, I think that there are multiple ways that people learn and grow. And I think that we need to be equipped as the church to address those. You know, as a school teacher, when I taught class, there are those who learn in different modalities, and you have to be able to be familiar how to use different modalities to really reach people or children in the best way possible. I don't think that's any different as adults. We're all like in a journey of learning, and some things click better with us than others, and really felt like, a podcast would be a great way for us to be able to help reinforce what we're teaching, what we're learning, and help us to go deeper. Did
you have any idea what it would become, how long you would look to do it? What were some of the things looking forward to?
Well, I think there's a lot of things. Like, I think people are trying to understand podcast and what that means, and I don't know that it's connected or clicked in the way maybe it should or it will. Mm-hmm. I think there's, even more ways in the future that might be even a greater possibility. And I don't know, I've kind of thought about even doing more myself personally.
Yeah.
Maybe this is my final one for the, Christ Wesleyan in the church. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll do some personally.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure it out. Because
Right.
My kids have said, hey, why don't you do a podcast? Why don't you do this on something or whatever? So I'm just trying to sort through what retirement looks like and what's coming up and how to stay active and really connected.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like for you to be a part of Dive Deep for the last 3 years, to be on the creative and just the kind of the vision side of it?
I just think it's been really, really a great way to be able to share something maybe a little more personal, a little more deeper, a little extended. Even though the time for the podcast is short, it gives you those opportunities maybe to focus on a particular topic or aspect of what the sermon was about or what the message, and then kind of go deeper in that particular aspect. So that's been exciting. That's been a great opportunity.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. What has been maybe a highlight over the last 3 years from the podcast, and maybe what was one of the more challenging aspects of it?
Highlight has been this vintage series.
Really?
I've loved hearing from people.
Yeah.
That's been great. And hearing their call-ins and, just a little bit more about what they might have to share. So that's been pretty awesome. I don't know how I would qualify challenge. I love thinking on my feet. Mm-hmm. I love when people shoot something at me to say, what about this? And that's something I'm real comfortable with. So I'm not kind of taken off guard. So I don't know how I would qualify as specifically a challenge, but.
Yeah, I know some of my favorite have been when you've had the opportunity to talk and dialogue with some other people, like the Ann Byler and Bob Freytag podcast that we did, or when we brought the coaches in. It was just neat to hear the dynamic because you were able to pull out a lot of depth in those conversations from the other individuals.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Maybe we should have flipped the script and had you interview some people more often.
I've enjoyed that whenever it happened.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun. Now, what I'd like to do is switch gears a little bit, and we have somebody that you know very well that called in to share a memory with you.
Okay.
And we heard a little piece of it, actually, from the retirement party. But we're going to give you the full message right now. So let's listen in as Mom Davis shares some thoughts.
Okay. This is scary.
I was asked to think about an occasion when I felt really proud of Arlie. This was a hard decision to make, since there had been so many times Was it at his high school graduation or even his graduation from college when he tried to turn the tassel on his cap and it fell off right into his hand? Perhaps when he started to teach in his own classroom? Or was it when he started the barber school while teaching and received his license to have his own shop? Or was it when I received a telephone call that he had given his life to Christ? Could it have been when he felt called to the ministry or moved back to Milton to begin to assist his dad in the church? Maybe it was when he was named pastor of the year. At that time, he had moved the church from around 200 to 1,500. Was it when he organized Meadowbrook Christian School and later received accreditation for the school? Or was it when his interest turned to missions, both home and abroad, and he visited the foreign countries as well? I could name more, but my time is limited. Of all the things I mentioned, I believe I would choose the night he gave his life to Christ. Well, whichever it was, I've always been proud to be the mother of Arlie Davis.
It's a lot of history.
Yep, it is. So your question.
Yeah. What are your thoughts as you heard Mom Davis talk? You could tell she was a school teacher. She's very articulate.
Yeah, she was. She was a brilliant lady. Very, very smart. She skipped 2 years of school and, went to college when she was 16.
Yeah.
So
you got some of that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Reflecting, I think I've had a lot of opportunity. I'm very much a person who lives in the moment.
Yeah.
That's just me. I that part I think I got from my dad. I'd go with my dad to a doctor's appointment, and they would say, "How are you feeling?" And at that moment, he was feeling good. So he'd say, "Oh, great, yeah." I said, "No, Pop, tell him about earlier in the week." "Oh, yeah, okay." Well, tell him about. Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm kind of like that way in some aspects.
Yeah.
Like not just my physical or whatever, but like in just where I am at the moment. Like I'm enjoying the moment, and that's been something. So when I hear reflection, and that's what I've been doing a lot of lately, obviously coming to this point.
Yeah.
And really trying to think, okay, like, wow, those are great memories. I think probably the thing that has struck me the most, wow, I've had so many people in the last week who've come up to me and told me, because of you, I gave my life to Christ, or because you made the offer, or because you spoke, or my life has been changed. Hearing those things is pretty overwhelming, and probably the greatest satisfaction that one could have, to know that you had impacted lives and helped make a difference, because of God working through you. So, those are kind of the great moments and great things that I reflect on when I hear those things.
And it's so true. I'm within the group that I am a part of here at Christ Wesleyan. Each one of us has been significantly impacted by you. And Michelle and I, after the retirement party, were just talking, and we were just kind of overwhelmed when you actually stop and you look at the big picture of what you've accomplished in your ministry here. But we realized that so much of who we are today is because of either you directly or because of the ministries that you put into place directly. And we wouldn't be the people we are without you. I mean, I remember 16 years old sitting in the bleachers, hearing a message on who is on the throne of your heart. And that, despite my decision that day, which was to say no, that stayed with me 6 years until I finally decided yes.
Wow.
And that was the seed that was planted. And I mean, even these years later, that is so vivid in my mind, that moment.
Yeah.
And that was because of what you spoke. And so we so appreciate it. You've been an incredible pastor, an incredible leader, and you've a great gift for looking into people's lives and seeing the potential that they have and mobilizing them to see that potential through. And so
Thank you, Caleb.
it's been a joy to work with you side by side and to see you in action. So as we did enjoy the retirement party, what a party that was.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. It was like incredibly overwhelming.
Yeah. What was your favorite part? I really enjoyed the cakes. I sampled almost every one.
It was, it was exhausting. It was overwhelming.
I'm sure.
I almost didn't expect anything that happened. I mean, I'm the easiest person to surprise anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I guess maybe because I don't expect things and then they happen and then I'm like, wow. My favorite memory of like how unassuming or like whatever, like totally clueless, I guess, that I was. On my 40th birthday, we interviewed a new minister of music. He didn't come, but anyway, we interviewed him. So I was showing him around. This is on a Sunday night. And then we had kind of a reception that was going to happen in Garver Hall. Well, I thought it was a reception for him because that's how clueless I am. And so, I showed him around and like I was walking up to Garver Hall because that's where it was going to be. I was walking up to Garver Hall. And as I was walking up, all these people ran into the building. And I thought they ran. So I turned to him and I said, they must be really hungry. And when I got in, they said, surprise, So like I was just so clueless. Like I had never, like I was thinking, oh, the people are hungry. That's why they're running in. They probably waited for us to pray over the meal or something. But I was so surprised by so many things. My kids.
Yeah. Wasn't that great? What great voices your kids have. Really incredible.
They do. They have incredible voices. They've got music coming at them from all sides, though.
Oh, true.
Both her parents, my parents, us. Like there's just music everywhere. So, so they had to have something, but they really do have incredible voices, and that was awesome to hear. And then, of course, my son singing. That was pretty incredible. His live one on the Mason.
Right. What a great
heard that
story.
before.
I hadn't either.
Never heard that
before.
before.
But it speaks so true to the way that you do work.
Yeah,
you love doing the work.
Yeah, it was like really, that was awesome. Yeah. And of course I didn't expect John Lyon there, a message from Joanne. I didn't think of all of that. I didn't even know Carl and Anita were going to be there, so, and I knew Dr. Wood was going to be there because I was really very intent. He's been walking through all of this with me. And so by that. So, and I was so touched by the choir of our team. Like that was like, our IT guys up there singing along.
Yes.
And that's not their forte, but they did it.
Yeah.
And then, the choir was there and I looked over and Tom Brocious was there.
Yep.
Physically, he could not even stand. I mean, but he was there. And so just seeing all those people, and, the relationship, the connections that are all there, it was just powerful. In fact, I was so overwhelmed. We actually hadn't eaten, so we went and got something to eat and went home with the kids, and we all were talking. We went to bed, and Sharon and I pray together every night before we go to sleep. We pray in the morning, we pray at night. And so we were both laying there in the bed and just saying, oh, we're so exhausted. This is like, I feel spent. And I don't remember ever feeling quite so spent as I did. And I said, is it okay with you if we don't really pray tonight? We just say thanks and go to sleep. And she said, yes. So we both looked up and just waved our hand and said, thanks. And then that was it.
Yeah.
Because there was just nothing left but to give thanks. It was a powerful, powerful night. 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I get antsy and I always look at my watch and I never did. So I didn't even know how long it was. I just knew it was long.
Yeah.
But it was skillfully done. The team was just incredible in how they put it together, moving from one thing to the next very quickly, and making it possible. I know people watched it online. I know that they sent me a copy of it, so it's available for people to watch if they didn't get to. It was just amazing.
Oh, it was. And it was a lot of fun to sit and watch and be a part of, too.
Yeah.
So, and now I'd like to ask any final words of encouragement that you want to leave listeners with on your final episode.
We're all in an ongoing spiritual journey of growing and learning. And I think if there's anything that I could say to anyone, don't ever stop growing and don't ever stop learning. It's such an important part of who we are and keeping vital in our walk with God. I love that I have a mom who is still learning. 94, she takes notes from sermons. She writes down questions, and when she sees me, she asks me more questions. She knows the Bible inside and out. She reads it through every year. Mm-hmm. So it's not at all like new to her, and yet it is fresh to her. And she continues to grow and learn. I always want that to be characteristic of me. I hope that's always clear to other people, that I'm a person who's a learner, who loves growing and becoming. And I hope that that's what I am really sharing with others, that they would have that same passion, that same desire to always be growing and becoming.
Pastor Arlie, on behalf of all the Dive Deep listeners, let me say thank you for your investment. We so appreciate the words that you've shared, the direction you've given, and the teaching that you've given to each of us.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us today on CWC Dive Deep. This episode concludes our walk down memory lane in the Vintage Collection. We hope you'll join us as we record future episodes with the new chapter of Dive Deep. If you've missed past episodes, you can check those out at cwc.life/dive-deep. Have a great week.